Welcome to Toy Car Project Part 7, where we're going to start making the body of the car look kind of cool. Lots to do. Please watch and listen and be prepared to pause. I may mess up a lot because we're going to do a lot of different things to this, and that's part of the process. So you'll have to pause and listen as needed to be able to do this on your own. I'm going to copy, I'm going to open the one that was the car body that we had saved before the 3D print one. I know I have more than you do, but you should have one that just says toy car body, and you're going to double click on that to open it. All right, that brings us up to here, and we're going to do quite a bit of stuff to this thing to get it ready to go. So first things first is we're going to give this thing some suspension. That means we're going to have some springs, and we're going to have this kind of be a notch where the axles could move up and down. Now, we're not really making this work, but we're doing this kind of theoretically. So let's go ahead and sketch on the inside of the wheel well. Okay. And let's zoom into this one. So we're going to create a circle that is directly up from the circle that's there, and we're going to make it the same size, which I can't remember what that was. Let's measure here. I told you I'm going to mess up sometimes. I'm going to measure that size. It was a diameter of 0.05. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead and make a circle, kind of hover over the center point and go up, and we're going to make a circle just kind of up above it that's 0.05. Now it'll be blue because it's not defined as to where that guy is. Let's go ahead and dimension from the center point of the circle below it to the center point of that, and let's make that distance 0.1. I might change my mind. Okay, that's a little bit much. Let's try 0.075. There we go. I like that distance. Now, we're going to also make some lines. I might need to project geometry. Let's find out. So I'm going to make some lines, kind of hover over the center here. Go to there, and we're going to go down. Okay, good. That little tangent line shows up. I want that to be tangent. If yours doesn't show up, but it's still black, that's probably okay. Again, I'm going to hover over there. See how it shows that it's tangent there? And now I'm tangent down here. Cool. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other wheel. So we're going to come over to here. Again, we might need to project the geometry of this. In fact, let's just go ahead and do it and hit P. And we'll click on that circle and OK, just to make sure that we've got that center point. Okay. And you're going to do the same thing that you did over here with the circles and the lines. Now, on both sides, just for good measure, let's do a constraint with the horizontal and vertical constraint to make this vertical to that. That vertical to the center point. Not sure why it's not showing up. Let me try that again. Vertical, I want the center point of that or vertical to that. Let me see if I can do it on this side. That point and that point. Well, I know it is vertical, so I'm going to leave it as is. Okay, fine. So we're going to finish that sketch, and we're going to extrude those parts and cut them out. So let's extrude. We're going to choose that part and that part and this part and that part, and we are going to cut. Okay. Drag your arrow so you can see it, and our distance is going to be through all of the object. Okay, and we should have a slot going through there. All right, cool. All right, now we are going to make some holes down here that the springs would go into that will support the axle when it goes through there. So let's go ahead and We need some axes. So let's hit construct, axis through a cylinder, and we're going to choose that bottom half of that cylinder and this bottom half of that cylinder. Whoops, I think we can only do one at a time. I wonder if I can hit control. No, we're going to have to do one at a time. So I'm going to do one, make the other, axis through a cylinder, that one. Okay, I know we did that before and then deleted them, but we need them again. Okay, and we're going to sketch on the bottom of the car, the flat surface down here. And what we need is we need to project, P for project, and we need to project the axes out. So that one and that one. Okay, we should get some purple lines. And we're going to put some points on these lines. We only need 2 of them, so we're going to create point. We're going to put a point somewhere along that line, a little bit down from the top. Same thing on the other side. It might show you a line that we're lined up. Okay, we're going to make those horizontal to each other. So choose that. Now they're horizontal to each other. And finally, we're going to dimension them from the edge of the wheel well to the point as 0.1. Okay. And because they're horizontal, they're both going to be 0.1. Let's go ahead and finish sketch. And we're going to put some holes on there. So we're going to choose the hole command. We're going to choose those 2 points. It might be huge, I don't know, but we're going to make those holes. I believe I wanted them as 0.15. Okay, that's what I want is 0.15. And we're going to go up into the top of the wheel well, which was 0.1 plus 0.25. So we're going to call it 0.35. Okay, I believe. Now, on this time, we want to have a flat bottom. So we're going to choose the drill point to be flat. Okay, so we're going a depth of 0.35 and our width is 0.15. Now, if there's edges poking through your car, tell me, but there shouldn't be. We shouldn't be having a problem with that. Should be okay. So we are going 0.35, flat bottom, choosing this, make sure it says all of these things, and finally we are going to click OK. Now, we've done this kind of thing before, okay, where we're going to mirror that feature. So under construction somewhere, you have a thing called midplane. We're going to take those features and we're going to mirror them. So we're going to create mirror. We want a feature mirror. The object that we want to mirror is the holes that we just made. The mirror plane, select that, is going to be the midplane chosen from your browser under construction, and click OK. And we should have 4 holes. All right, looking good. Okay, so we've got slots going through there, and we've got holes. Now, we can turn off under construction. We don't need to see the axes anymore. So go ahead and expand construction and let's turn off the eyeballs for those because we don't need to see them anymore. All right, the next part is a kind of a cool thing we haven't done yet, which is called shell. We're going to basically scoop this thing out and make it a thin walls. So we're going to come up here to modify, and you should have either drop down or in there is shell command. Choose that. And what's going to happen is you're going to click on the bottom here. Now, we're not actually going to do this yet. We're just going to preview it. Click on your the bottom right there, and we should be able to grab this arrow. And as you can see, what's happening here is it's shelling this whole thing out. What we want to do is we want to find a thickness that kind of works. So 0.03 seems to look pretty good. So I think I like that. Um, so we like that, but we're not going to remove the bottom. We're going to keep that there. So let me take a look at this again just to make sure. Actually, I changed my mind. We're going to make it 0.02. Okay, so once we see that, hit cancel, because that's not what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a little bit of a different way. All right, we're going to go ahead and hit shell again, okay? And this time we are going to choose the car body 1, which is over here. Or actually, I'm sorry, we're going to choose body 1. We only have one of them. So notice it selected a body, okay? But we are not going to select a face. Remember that it was 0.02, okay? And we are going to the inside. Oops, 0.02. Cool. Okay. And we're just going to click OK. Now, it will look like nothing happened, but we just shelled it out. We just didn't remove the bottom this time. You can kind of see this. If you zoom in a little bit, you'll see that it is hollowed out partially inside. So here's how we're going to be able to tell to see if we did that. So you're going to come up here to inspect. We've done this before, and we're going to do section analysis, grab one of the planes, and go through. Okay, I don't know what happened, but our shell didn't work. I told you that there were going to be some problems. Oh, yes, it did. Look at that. So as I go through, I just needed to flip it around. See that it's hollow inside now? All right, cool. So I thought it was wrong, but I just was not looking from the right perspective. I was looking from the bottom. So you should be able to see that it's hollow inside. All right, once you've flipped it around and can see that, then cool. We're going to click OK, finish our section analysis, and we've got a shelled out part. All right, the final thing that we're going to do with this one is we're going to make some essentially windows. And we need to make a bunch of planes for this. So we're going to use these planes for all sorts of purposes. So the first thing we need to do is we need to construct an offset plane. That's going to bring up your original planes. So I tend to like to look at the car this way with it pointing left. So I'm going to take this plane. I say offset. I'm going to select this plane that kind of goes with the length of the car, and I'm going to pull it out here beyond the car. So flip it around and make sure that that plane is out beyond the car and not going to touch it anywhere. Then we're going to click OK. Now, to make myself feel better, I'm going to take this plane and grab a corner and just pull it so that I'm sure that it's covering the whole car. That way, when I look at it, I can see that that plane is outside of the car, okay? And I can see the whole thing, right? When we're done with that, come over to construction and see this plane that we just made that was visible. Right click on it, rename it, and we're going to call that side plane. Whoops, I got caps on. All right, we're going to do two more. We're going to do a front and a back plane. So now let's go ahead and turn the side plane off. We don't need to see it anymore. We're going to do the same thing for the front and the back. So we're going to create an offset plane. I'm going to grab that plane, pull it out towards the front so that I know that it's, whoops, beyond the front. Somehow I clicked OK. I didn't mean to. And then I'm going to take that plane and again, oops, I don't know how I did a command I don't want. That's okay. I'm going to grab that, move it around so that when I look at that, I know I've got the plane outside of the car covering the whole thing. We're going to call that one front plane. Rename. You'll understand later why we need them. We're going to use these to construct all sorts of different things. And then we're going to do one more. I'm going to turn that one off. Now let's offset another one. Grab that same one. You know what we're doing. We're pulling it to the back. Make sure it's off of the car. Okay. Grab the corners just to make yourself feel better that you know. I'm going to click on the view cube so that you know it's kind of all across the back. It's not touching it. Okay. And we're going to call that back plane. All right. So we got a side plane, front plane, back plane. Let's turn them all off because we don't need them anymore for now. All right. So first, we're going to talk about how to cut out some window things. So let's go ahead and sketch on the side plane. So I hit sketch, I'm expanded construction, and I'm clicking on side plane. So I'm sketching right now on that side. Now, I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to sketch where I want to see windows. I need to make sure I'm looking straight at the car and not at a weird angle like this. It won't work. So make sure your view cube is square to you. And we're going to draw, maybe making some arcs, okay, like a 3-point arc. I think I'm going to start here, down here about, go here, kind of mimic the front. Then I can use lines to, I think I'll go around the back a little bit. Maybe I can hover over here. So there's going to be one of the windows. Then there's going to be another one in the back. Again, your car is going to look slightly different than mine. So, yours might not quite be the same look as what mine is. So I'll kind of hover over here. You do you. I'm going to have mine kind of looking like that. And here's why you're going to understand why the shell was kind of important. So we're going to take those shapes and extrude them all the way through the car. Remember, when you're going through all, please choose all that we're cutting through. Okay. And we've got some windows. If you don't like the way it looks, do it again. See how it goes for you. All right, cool. Now we're going to do the same thing for the front windshield and the back. You could even put a sunroof on there if you wanted to make another plane. But this one's going to be a little bit tricky because I want a plane that's at an angle here. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to create an offset plane. I'm actually going to use 2 planes to make this happen. So I'm going to create an offset plane. And again, how you do this is kind of up to you. But I'm going to create an offset plane that's offset from the bottom of the car and kind of come up to where the windshield sort of starts-ish, right about in there. Okay? Click OK. Now, I'm using this plane to create another plane. So I'm going to sketch on this plane, and I'm going to draw a line right about down towards the bottom of the windshield. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it straight, right about there at the bottom. Finish sketch. Okay. Now I'm going to put a plane. Watch the way this works first, and then you're going to try it. I'm going to create a plane at an angle. So I'm going to choose this line, and I'm going to make an angle. Okay. Now, if that plane is not sitting up and off of my car, and we want to make sure that it's sitting off of it, what you can do is go back and lift that other plane up a little bit. Okay, so that you've got this line there, but we want we want this plane to be out away from the car, okay, but kind of close to that windshield. All right, cool. If you're having trouble with this, tell me. I can help you. Now we're going to sketch on this plane. And now we're going to just mimic kind of what we did before. You know, I'll make some lines. I think I'll probably just do this with lines. You can use arcs. You can always find midpoints and, hey, but I'm coming basically where I want this to go. Now, I like things being symmetrical, so I'm going to use my equal constraint to make this line equal to that line. Okay, and that way I can make sure that, you know, it's symmetrical. And, you know, I could have made this arched. I could have made these arched a little bit. Finish my sketch. And now I can extrude. Oops, I didn't do that. No, I want to finish sketch. Now I can extrude that guy cutting it through. Now this time I'm not cutting through all. This time I'm only cutting until I get through what I want to get through. Because if I go through all, I'm going to go through the bottom of the car too. Click OK. You can always go, and if I accidentally went through something else, I can always go back and adjust that. All right. So there's my windshield. I'm going to cut out or turn off sketches that I don't want on anymore, like that blue line. Cool. And using that same method, you're going to do that same thing for the back window. For the back, I decided to make a little 3-point arc on the top. Okay, but you do what you want to do. Okay, and you've got your car. If you feel so ambitious, whoops, like see, here's a good example. I didn't end up going all the way through it, so I can come back to that extrusion and go, whoops, go a little tiny bit more. Okay, turn off the sketches I don't want to see anymore. Fantastic. If you feel like it, you can make a sunroof on it, you know, make it your own. All right, pretty cool. Looks good. All right, so go to where I can see that you've got a shell. I can see that these are oval. Take a screenshot of that, turn it in. Good job, you finished with part 7. Next time, we're going to make some headlights. We're going to make some exhaust pipes. We're going to make all sorts of cool stuff. All right, we will see you for that part soon.